Yunnan is at the museum right now. And Meet the Terracotta Army Understanding Chinese Culture is a collaborated program offered by our university, Xidan University, and Emperor Qinshihuang's Mausoleum Site Museum. Now, in addition to the live Chinese classes, we also offer these virtual field trips, now including the sightseeings in Xi'an. Of course, the Terracotta Army Museum is the most famous one. And today, Xunan Xu Laoshi, now she will give you a working tour online. And should you have any questions, now you can raise up your hands or just leave your message in the chat room. Now we can answer your questions. And before Xinan began to do this working tour, I want to give you some brief introduction about the ancient Chinese objects of the artifacts. Now, all of the Chinese ancient artifacts, objects, now in the present day often refers to as art. However, it should be noted that what is called art was not necessarily made at the time as fine art. Many of these objects had ritual or practical functions when new, but gradually became valued for their aesthetic qualities. So that is also the same to the terracotta warriors. For this museum, now Emperor Qinshihuang's Mausoleum Site Museum is a large on-site museum. It consists of two parts, Emperor Qinshihuang's Mausoleum Site Park and the Terracotta Army Museum. Due to the time limit, now today, Xu Laoshi will only give us this working tour in this Terracotta Army Museum. There were three famous military battle formations pits in this museum. Okay, now I will invite Xu Laoshi to start this working tour. Xu Laoshi.
Hello everyone, good morning. This is almost 9 o'clock Beijing time, and right now I'm in the world famous Terracotta Army Museum. And today we are going to say pin number 1, pin number 2, and pin number 3. And we will give you this online lecture by taking a walk tour of the world famous Terracotta Army Museum. And okay, let's go inside pin number 1 to have a look a little bit. Before we are going to say pin number 1, maybe I should give you a brief introduction about the first emperor, Qinshihuang. And he was the world famous emperor in Chinese history. When he was only 13 years old, he just continued the word of Qin state. And when he was only 22, he seized the power. After 15 years fighting, he unified China and the whole time for the first time and declared himself the first emperor. So today we are going to say a part of his mausoleum. Okay, now we are just in front of pin number 1. Pin number 1 was discovered in March 1974 when some local farmers were digging a water well to save them from drought. But to their surprise, it's not water that they found, but life-size pottery figures. Introduced how was Qin people made such a large underground construction over 2,200 years before. First, they were digging a pit like this. We can have a look. There have several partition walls. They dividing the whole pit into several corridors. So maybe I would like to give you a chance to count how many corridors in pit number 1.
Okay, Xu Laoshi asked, how many corridors in pit number 1? This is the biggest of these 3 pits.
Yeah, I can give you maybe several minutes to count.
To count. This is a burial pit. Now, burial, which means that when the emperor died, now he had the things buried with him. Burial pit. This is a military battle formation pit.
So,
how many?
Yeah, so maybe it's hard for them to say clearly pictures about number 1. It's too big. So maybe I will answer this question. there are 10 partition walls, dividing the whole place into 11 corridors. So on top of the pillars were crossbeams, and on the crossbeams were covered with mats and the earth. Look, there are still some pieces of the wooden roof left on the top of the wall. Maybe we can
Yes, yeah, 徐老师，
那个被烧过的中间，被烧过的那个烫迹。
Yeah, the signal is not that good. But Xu Laoshi just introduced this is a partition wall. Partition wall divided this pit into 11 corridors. There were 10 partition walls. So all of the warriors, they are standing in a corridor. So there are 11 corridors in total. Yeah, because the Terracotta army is really famous. So every day there were hundreds, thousands, even 10,000 visitors coming. So it's a little bit noisy there. Xu 老师，这个画面静止了。
Yeah, even today we are just going to say page number 1, page number 2, and page number 3. But the discovery of the 3 pages were only the first archaeological research of our tomb. Besides the numerous treasures buried inside, there are also many relics buried outside. The tomb complex is almost over 45.69 square kilometers, and there are more than 300 caves around the tomb. Hello, Dong Laoshi, I can hear your voice. Maybe we should make sure
yes,
it's connect or not.
Yes, sometimes yeah, it doesn't work, but it is okay. I just introduce. Yes, because there were so many visitors every day. So it is a little bit noisy.
Continue. Yeah. Cave number 1 is the largest cave. Now we're standing in the front part. It's in a rectangular shape and 62 meters wide from north to south and 5 meters deep, covering the total area of 14,206 square meters. Inside the cave, there are structure shape of panel. And sloping walkway were constructed on 4 sides of the cave to active. But because cave number 1 is 3, I will show you the interesting details.
徐老师，这个画面不是非常的清楚。徐老师，这个画面不太清楚，是网络的原因还是人太多了？
可能是网络的原因。那我的声音清楚吗？
声音也是时断时续的。
我们调整一下。
让你们调整一下。Okay, guys, now we are Xu Laoshi is trying to find out why the network is not it doesn't work very well. Now let me just explain some other information to you about this pin number 1. Now pin number 1, now we can see it is rectangular in shape. It is very large, big. We can see that on this side, Xu Laoshi is approaching. Now this is the site of the well, which means that in 1974, when the local farmer dug well, and by chance, they discovered the fragments of the terracotta warriors. So this is the site of the well. We cannot see that very clearly, but I can see it located there. And from 1974, now the archaeologists began to excavate pin number 1, number 2, and number 3. So we have these 3 pits. They are named according to the time of the discovery. So that is why we have the number 1, 2, and 3. And you can see that in front of us, just the 3 rows of the soldiers standing in front of this battle formation. So all of the soldiers in this pit number 1, they just have their own ranks. The first row soldiers, they are called the vanguards. They are the foot soldiers, vanguards, and they are just facing outward. So that is the same to the 2 flanks, on the right flank and the left flank. the warriors, they are just facing outward as well as the rear. At the back, at the rear of this formation, there is also a row of the soldiers standing outwards. So they are protecting the main body of the military formation. Okay, 徐老师, it's okay now.
Okay, so now let's say clearly in number 1, just like Dong Laoshi produced to you in details. So maybe I will give you deeper information about our formation. So the formation in number 1 consists of 4 parts: the vanguard in the front corridor, the main body behind the vanguard, the flanks on the left and right side of the page, and the rear guard on the other side of the page. In the front of the formations and the 3 vanguards, 3 ranks of soldiers are standing here in order. So they are the first to sacrifice for the emperor. And we can say there have the some warriors, they look like holding something in their hand, right? But to the public in our museum, because in ancient times, we will find out almost like 40,000 weapons in our 3 plates. But because of all of the weapons, their holding parts was made of wood and bamboo. So that's the reason why when we just open excavated parts, all of the weapons was disappeared. We collect all of the bronze parts, but we don't have the excavation parts to show to the public right now. So that's the reason why you cannot see the real weapons used by the soldiers. So maybe you can have a look here. There has the whiteboard. Can you see that? So just as Dong Laoshi just introduced this side towards the side of the wall. That's the first location part of us when we get first from number 1.
Yes, so Xi Laoshi just introduced along with terracotta figures. Now we refer to these terracotta warriors as figures because in addition to the terracotta soldiers, they also excavated a lot of terracotta horses. And terracotta is a kind of earthenware, is a kind of clay. So we just give them the term that is terracotta warriors and the soldiers. In total, we call them terracotta army. So you can see that the warriors standing in front of us, now they are the vanguards, but can you see that they wear no armors and no helmet, but they are still standing in front of this battle formation? Do you know why? Guys, do you know why? Now, you cannot see that very clearly, but in a while after we finish this working tour, now I can just refer you to our digital collections on the Smithsonian Learning Lab, so you can see them very clearly. Do you know why the vanguards standing in front of this battle formation wear no armor or no helmet? Is there anybody? Okay, now let me just tell you why.
Maybe no.
So most vanguards. So do we have answers? I cannot see it. Okay, let me just reveal the answer. So most vanguard soldiers wear no armor due to the military reforms of a guest minister named Shang Yang, now made between 360 BC and his murder in 338 BC. His reforms introduced a meritocracy to the Qin military, meaning individuals could earn higher rank positions in the military with outstanding performance on the battlefield. The vanguard consisted mainly of soldiers of low rank, now who did not wear helmets or armor so that they could move more freely on the battlefield and kill as many enemies as possible, but at the same time putting their own physical safety at risk. So that is also explained why the Emperor Qinshihuang unified China for the first time. Before the Qing dynasty, China was divided into several kingdoms, especially the seven most powerful states fighting with each other for the control of the territory and the politics. But Shangyang, now this guest minister, was employed by the Ying Zheng, that is Emperor Qinshihuang, when he came to throne at 13. Now he just adopted Shangyang's policy. Is a kind of philosophy of the legalism, and just how this meritocracy to encourage the individuals to fight bravely at the battlefield. So this is a soldier's vanguard. Why, right? They did not wear the helmet of the armor in front of the battle formation. Okay, yes. Can we just move?
Okay, so let's find an empty place. I want to show you pictures of the weapons.
Yeah, the weapons. There are about 40,000 bronze weaponries were excavated alongside these terracotta figures. So they are just the weapons.
Yeah, these weapons can be divided into 3 types according to their function. So this one will show you its long shaft weapons. And about this part is short weapons. And also we have this kind of long range weapons. Can you see clearly?
Yes. So the handle of the weapons, they were made of the wood, and they got deteriorated after being buried underground for more than 2,000 years. But the tips, they were made of bronze. So that is why they survived. And there were 3 kinds of weapons. Now, Xu Laoshi just showed that.
Yeah. So the most amazing part is that some bronze weapons are still sharp as new when they were on Earth, although they were buried on the ground for over 2,000 years. Short weapons, such as swords, are most suitable for fighting in narrow space because they give the user increased flexibility in comparison to the other 2 types of weapons found in the terracotta army plates. So long shaft weapons are another type of the weapons found in the terracotta army plates. Their tips are made of bronze, and the holding parts were originally made of wood or bamboo. I told you before. So compared to short weapons, these long shaft weapons have a large range of attack and slightly greater attack power. So the long range weapons include with bow and the crossbow.
Yes. Okay, so He Laoshi, can you just stop here? Now let's look at this warrior now with his arms outraised. Now this is a charioteer. Charioteer. There are different kinds of soldiers in pit number 1. Now we have the vanguard. Now we have the charioteer. Charioteer is a soldier who just drove the chariot. Now can you see that with his arms outraised? Now he once held the reins of the 4 horses. Now in front of him, there was a wooden chariot, but this chariot that is for the same reason they got deteriorated because they were made of wood. And in front of the wood, the chariot, there were 4 horses. 4 horses. So we call this set of group is a charioteer and a chariot. And on these 2 sides of this chariot, we have 2 soldiers standing on the left and the right. Now they were supposed to protect this group of the enforced army. So now, okay, so charioteer is another kind of the terracotta figure.
So all of the terracotta warriors are made flat sides, and their average height of them is about 1.8 meters. So here is my question. Were Qin people tall and big 2,000 years ago?
Yes. Now you can see that the warriors, they are really tall, they're really large. In Chinese, now our measurement is meters and centimeters. So it's about 1.8 meters high. So Xu Laoshi's question is that, were people in the Qin dynasty tall? Do you know that? It is said that all of the warriors, yeah, we got to answer. Now, Parker, yeah, Parker.
I don't think they were that tall, were they?
Actually, they were not that tall.
Okay.
According to the human remains on Earth in the tomb of the Qin dynasty, archaeologists found that the Qin people were almost 1.7 meters tall. So we can look at the terracotta figures. Here, most of them have a note on their head. Without note, their average head is around 1.75 meters.
A knot means that you can see that a lot of the warriors, they just have a kind of knot that is just like the girls' hair, right? Now you can see. And in ancient China, it is said that the hair and skin, they were gifted from their parents. So the ancient Chinese men were not supposed to cut off their hair. So even for the soldiers, now they will have to find ways to tie their hairs on their head, like at the knot. So with a knot and a pedestal underneath, in total, now you can see the warriors is very tall. But the average, according to the research, the archaeologists estimated that the average height of the Qin people is 1.7 meters high. But when you just go to see the walrus, you can see it is really high.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all of the warriors were made of clay in life-size proportions. The weight of the figures will rise from 110 to 300 kilos. In general, the body, head, and arms of the human figures are hollow, where eyes and legs are solid clay. The construction of the human figures requires a number of steps. The making of the terracotta figures began with the roof cast. Then the hollow body was made by the coiling of clay. The final steps was head. They were made in 2 pieces mold and then added on. After completion, the figures were fired in the kiln. The fire temperature ranged from 950 to 1050 degrees centigrade.
Yeah, Xu Laoshi just explained the process of creation of these terracotta figures. Now, they were created by the ancient workers of craftsmen. There were 2 kinds of workshops during the Qin dynasty. One is a government-owned workshop. Another one is a private one. But in total together, now they created these terracotta figures. There were, if fully excavated, archaeologists estimate that there will be more than 7,000 terracotta figures in these 3 pits. But currently, now you can see that for this pit number 1, only 1/3 has been excavated. Most of them had remained uncovered, remained in the underground.
Even the warriors you see today is not that beautiful and colorful, but all of the figures found in Emperor Qinshihuang's tomb complex were originally brightly painted. The painting process is very special. First, a layer of lacquer is applied as a base, and then layer of the bright colors are painted on different parts of the portrait figures. So these warriors look vivid with black or brown hair, pink skin, red lips, black pupil, single eyelash, and different colors of the uniforms. So far, there are over 17 kinds of colors have been found from the figures, such as red, green, purple, yellow, black, and white. Most of the colors are pigments created from minerals, such as cinnabar, malachite.
Yes, Xu Laoshi just explained the colors. Yeah, when you just see that from the screen, you can see they are just unpainted, right? Unpainted. There's no color on these warriors, but originally they were painted. They had color. So the process of making the terracotta warriors, that is after they have been created, now they would be applied a layer of the lacquer, and on top of the lacquer, now the workers will apply different kinds of colors, and then they were buried on the ground. But why? Now we see that they are unpainted, but originally they were painted. So do you know why?
Yeah, so why do so many of the figures appeared unpainted today? So where is the question? the quality of the colors or because of different reasons?
Yeah, Yuanzhou. Yeah, we had a student. Yuanzhou, Charlie's Planet. Can you hear?
Hello, Charles. Hello. Maybe I'm waiting for your answer.
Yeah.
The paint, right?
I'm
Yuanzhou.
sorry, I can't catch you.
Yes, is it?
Charlie's, I cannot hear you. Yeah.
Is the paint more away?
Charlie, I
Is it
cannot hear you
because-
very well.
Oh, it's okay. It's all right. Hello.
Is it because the paint
Sorry,
more
I
away?
cannot hear you.
No.
Yeah. So Xu Laoshi, can you just tell us the answer?
Okay. 2,000 years passed by, and these figures have experienced both human destruction and the natural decay during the excavation, the sudden change of the temperature and humidity. So the liquid layer becomes very sensitive when it is exposed to air and light. The remaining water quickly explodes, so the paint, like our dry skin in winter, quickly flakes off of the surface. So that's why we can see any colors on the terracotta warriors. But it wasn't until 1992 that some experts were able to create a technique to preserve the paint on these figures.
Yes. So Xu Laoshi just introduced, they were buried underground for more than 2,000 years. And suddenly, when they were excavated, they exposed to the air and the atmosphere. So the environment was interrupted. And the lacquer that is on top of the warriors, now there was some remaining water inside this lacquer. But when they are exposed to air, and the remaining water will evaporate within 4 minutes. So the lacquer will flake off. And the color on the top of the lacquer will disintegrate as well. Until in 1992, the scientists in this museum invented a kind of technique to preserve the color. So right now in some in the laboratories, now we can see some colors on the terracotta figures. But before the 1992, now when the warriors were excavated, all of the colors just disappeared. So these warriors, yeah, go ahead. Xu Laoshi,请继续。
So we have seen most of the warriors. So here is a new question. Why did Emperor Qinshihuang created this big tomb complex? So why did he created the terracotta armies?
Yes, Xu Laoshi just asked another question. You know that Emperor Qinshihuang's mausoleum site park is really big. It includes the site park and its terracotta burial pits, and also some other pits as well. There were around 300 burial pits. Now, not only for the terracotta soldiers, but also the bronze water birds, the acrobats, the officials, and even the pit of the stone armor. So Xu Laoshi's question is that, why did Emperor Qinshihuang have all of these things buried with him? Yes, Parker, please.
Was it to help him in the afterlife?
Yes,
almost like
afterlife.
yeah. So the ancient
Yes,
Chinese,
right.
they believed, that when a person's life ended, their soul and spirit lived in the afterlife. So Emperor Qinshihuang wanted to have everything with him in his afterlife. So the warriors are now the only terracotta figures found in Emperor Qinshihuang's tomb complex. Just like Professor Dong just introduced to you, we also have the terracotta figures of acrobats, musicians, and civil officials, as well as objects such as stone armor, bronze chariots and horses, bronze animals, include water birds, and much more. So excavation of the first emperor's tomb complex are going. So you can say that this terracotta warrior standing in front of us was made to protect the first emperor in his underground world.
Yeah, so this is ancient Chinese beliefs, right? Ancient Chinese believe that when a person's life ended, their soul and spirit continued to live on in the afterlife. So previous kings also built tombs, but on a much smaller scale than the Emperor Qinshihuang's final tomb complex. This is the biggest one.
So here we come to the famous Terracotta Army Hospital. The public has had a great interest in the restoration of the terracotta warriors and horses since they have been discovered. Today, we are going to find out the mystery behind the scene. So let me introduce Ms. Professor Dong. Just introduce some detailed information about this part.
Okay, Xu Laoshi. Yeah, so Xu Laoshi introduced this is a hospital for the terracotta figures, which means that when they were excavated, now the terracotta figures, they were broken into different pieces, the fragments. Now, sometimes the pieces are about 1,000, no, 100, hundreds of. So
100.
they would have to be transferred to this workshop to have the treatment. So that is why we call it the relic hospital, the hospital for the terracotta figures. The restaurant, the person who are working in this workshop are called the restaurant of the conservator. Now they would give the different terracotta figures a kind of treatment to piece them up together, and then they will be returned to where they were found, to their original position. So this is an open workshop. The discipline of this Terracotta Army Museum is just the disciplining, but at the same time, the excavation and also the conservation. So that is all for the public. We can see that out from the outside, but of course we cannot go inside. Now we can see it from the outside as visitors. Okay, Xu Laoshi.
Okay, so maybe let's move. Now we're going to say page number 3. I will leave you several minutes. If you have some questions, just leave us a message.
Yes, the 3 pages, they are close to each other, but page number 3 is close to the page number 1. So normally, the educators will just show us from the page number 1 to page number 3. Okay, now do you have any questions during this meantime? Pin number 1 consists of the infantrymen, middle-ranking officers, charioteers, and horses. We can see that they are arranged in a large military battle formation. Now, this one is rectangular in shape and contains 11 corridors partitioned by earth walls. We just saw that earth walls. And also, you can see that the floor is paved with bricks, and the earth walls originally supported a roof created by wooden crossbeams covered with a mass and fine soils. This is the rear gate of this pin number 1.
Yeah, so the conclusion of pin number 1 is the biggest one we will say today, and if fully excavated, there will be almost 6,000 culture figures. Yeah, so it's really a big one.
Yeah, but from the pin number 1, now there were about 2,000 terracotta figures. They had been excavated.
So maybe in the year like almost 3 to 6 years, we don't have the big plan to excavate the most part of pin number 1. So hope you can come here to stay.
Yeah. So the excavation is ongoing. Do you have any questions? Now this is a pin number 3, so you can see that the characters. Now, Xu Laoshi, can we just stop here for a little while?
Yeah, sure.
So can you recognize that? This is a Chinese calligraphy. Now, who can recognize that? Who can read it?
Maybe they all know the word 3.
Yeah. Last time, now we just give a Qing small script. online lecture. This is the Qin small script online lecture. Yeah, Qin small script. So after Emperor Qinshihuang unified China for the first time, he also standardized the currency, writing styles, the measurements, and started to connect the Great Wall. So he has done a lot of things. They are just the big achievements of this Emperor Qinshihuang. So we read from the right to the left. Now let's ask Xu Laoshi to read it. It is Qin
兵马俑3号坑遗址。
遗址 means relic.
Yeah, 遗址。
relic. Yes. Okay. Now can we just go inside, 徐老师？那我们就进去吧。
Okay. So page number 3 is the small list of 3 pits and were discovered in 1976. Only 68 cultural figures and 1 chariot drawn by 4 horses was discovered from this part. So it's divided into 3 tips and it's U-shaped, covering the total area about 520 square meters. So this pit is now known as the command center of the entire army because of following reasons. So first, its position in the far northwest corner of the overall plan. So it ensures this pit can be well protected by the other 2 pits. So right now in the eastern end, in the north chamber, here we can have a look. A piece of broken deer and the remains of animal bones were found here. So in ancient times, people believe that they can use a deer horn talking with God, crying for the protection from God before each battle. So I think maybe this part is used for sacrifices. So here you can see all of the warriors was look like pieces. This is the original things when we first found number 3. We want to show you the traditional things when we first found this part. So later when we go to the north chamber, you will look the warriors was finished the review.
Yeah, this is a chamber. Chamber. Now, pin number 3, it is U-shaped. U-shaped. So there are just 3 chambers. This chamber, Xu Laoshi just introduced is original original pit when the warriors were uncovered, so they haven't been restored. We just want the visitors to have a understanding how the fragments of the warriors looked like when they were first excavated. Now this one, so they are just fully restored.
Yeah. So right now we're in the north part. So 64 fully armed figures were found here. Unlike the figures in page number 2, they were arranged face to face with their backs to the wall. So this arrangement suggests that they were guards.
Question. You have told them,
okay.
Right? So I just want to ask
I'm sorry.
a question. So why do they stand facing each other with their backs against the wall? Xu Laoshi just said they are just the guards, right?
Yeah, arranged to suggest that they were guards. So even the weapons used by the figures are different here.
Yes, so they are the security guard. They are not the soldiers fighting on the battlefield. So the archaeologists believe that the terracotta figures in this pit are most likely the commander's guards to honor, because this pit is the only location in a tomb complex with a bronze shu, a blunt ceremonial weapon used by the guards of honor has been found here. So we just saw Xu Laoshi's picture. Now there are different kinds of weapons, and one of these is called shu. Now Xu Laoshi, can you just give them the picture about the shu, this ceremonial weapon? Yeah.
So here is a shu. Yeah, and it don't have any blade, so it means it cannot hurt people. We think maybe it was used guard of honor.
Yes, so this is a tip of this weapon. Of course, it helps the handle. Yes, now that is on that is on the right. In our screen, it's on the right. Here. It is a shu. Yeah, it is not a weapon. It is a ceremonial weapon, not the weapon for the fighting on the battlefield. So that is why this pit is often referred to as the Terracotta Army's headquarters. But no figure of a commanding general has been found in pit number 3. Most experts believe that this is because Emperor Qinshihuang would have held the position. According to the Qin military rules, the emperor held the supreme command authority during peacetime. It was only during wartime that the emperor would appoint a commanding general. Okay, now, yeah, our camera just give us another set of the charioteers, so we can see the 4 horses clearly in front of us. And after these terracotta horses, now we can see the charioteers. No, the first one in the middle is not charioteer, it's soldiers standing on the sides of charioteer. And the charioteer is just behind him. And
so
after
at the
this,
end of the page,
yeah, underneath the soldier, now we can see the wooden chariot. They just got deteriorated. And this one is the armored one.
yeah.
So armored one, yeah. Can you see the armors on the chest of this soldier? So we call it the armored soldier. Okay, Xu 老师, now please continue.
Okay, so here we have the chariots we think is colorfully painted, so we think which represents with a high rank. So maybe I will show you the entries I told you in page number 1.
Now, can we just have a look at the sloping way? Yes, Xu 老师 just introduced this sloping way. So have you ever wondered, after these warriors being created, how were they transferred to the pit? They were just covered. Look at this. These sloping ways, they are the place to transfer the warriors inside.
Yeah, once the terracotta warriors and horses are arranged inside the corridors, the entries were closed. So this means a sealed complete army are established to protect the emperor's underground palace.
Yes. It is said that the workers, the craftsmen, they were also being buried in this pit as well, because the emperor didn't want the secret of his tomb be revealed.
Yeah, they want to keep it in secret. So we have already found like 2 empty pits around the tomb. Inside that 2 pits, it's only the human's bones. So I think maybe the died craftsman was over there.
So there were the tombs were discovered in the Mausoleum site park. The tombs of the workers, they were discovered as well. The whole process for this mausoleum, according to the historical record, it took 38 years to have it built, and may have involved the labor of 720,000. So you can imagine, right? It is really no small task for this mausoleum and the 300 burial pits. Now they are approaching
so
the
that's the reason why we are the most famous one in China, because we are the biggest one and the richest one collections of the tomb in Chinese history.
Yeah, this is pit number 2.
Yeah, so here we are going to say pit number 2. So in April 1976, when archaeological workers doing an excavation around pit number 1, they found out the second pit. Pit number 2 is located 20 meters far from pit number 1. According to the excavation results from pit number 2, we ensure this pit is half the size of pit number 1, forming a sort of L shape with a total area of 6,000 square meters. So compared to pit number 1, pit number 2 is more complicated and more complete in its battle formations and the type of armed forces. There are about 1,300 terracotta warriors, 89 chariots, and thousands of weapons in pin number 2, consisting of 4 different kinds of military battle formation. So the cavalrymen with saddle horses and the kneeling archers was first discovered from pin number 2.
Yes, Xi Laoshi just introduced. The warriors in this pin number 2 consist of 4 types of armed services arranged into 4 different battle formations. They are archer battle formation, chariot battle formation, cavalry battle formation, and chariot infantry and cavalry battle formation. The size,
so the
the size of this pin number 2 is less than half the size of the pin number 1. It is still very large.
Yeah, so let me tell you the configurations in details. So the first configuration over there, we can show them. Over this part, you can have a look. The first configuration includes kneeling and standing archer at the east corner of this stage. 106K kneeling archers are in the middle of the group with 172 standing archers placed around them. So the archer used crossbow in ancient war over this part.
So kneeling archer and standing archer. In a while, Xi Laoshi will show you the individual artifact. But archer, they belong to this archer battle formation. They have the kneeling archer, standing archer.
So the second configuration is made of 4 chariots at the south side over here. Okay, you see that? So there are totaling 64 chariots. Each chariot was followed by 3 warriors. The chariot was originally made of wood and were completely rotated with the 1 earth.
Chariot.
So about this part, the middle configuration consists of 4 chariots, infantrymen, and cavalry. Chariots are in the front, followed by infantrymen and cavalrymen. So in ancient battle, chariots was often used in conjunction with infantrymen. So about this part is the north configuration. There has 108 cavalrymen with their saddle horses. Each cavalryman stands in the left front of his horse, holding the gun in one hand and a crossbow in the other.
So the combination of these 4 formations create a flexible military unit on the battlefield. Now these groups could either act in coordination as a single unit or separate into individual units, depending on the situation and geographical contexts. Now this is a layout of this pin number 2. Now, Xi Laoshi, can we just show this layout, the diagram?
Okay. Let me find out because
the diagram 就是那个图表。
看一下那个图表，看一下。
Yes. So you can see this is like an L, like an L.
Yeah, it's sort of L shaped. So it's not that big. Almost 1,300 warriors and horses will discover from this part. So the blue part means the terracotta warriors. So the right part is the war chariots. So the green part is saddle horses with their cavalrymen. And I'm not sure it's gray or that color. It means it's war chariots. So it's divided into 4 types. These 4 battle configurations made up of flexible military units. They could either cooperate as a single unit or separate into individual units, depending on different situations and the geographical context.
Yes. The majority of this too is still remained uncovered, remained unexcavated.
I'm sorry. So here we have several special terracotta figures on display at an Australia. Maybe we can go there to have a look in details.
Yes, there were superstars from this museum. They are on display. So you can see the individual terracotta figures. Now this is 9:40 a.m. in the morning in China. You can see a lot of visitors, especially by noon. The museum is located to the east of Xi'an. Now, from the center of Xi'an to the museum, by driving, is about 1 hour.
Yeah, so because the Emperor Qin, he created his destiny in Xianyang campus, where it's the Xianyang Airport Station over there. So that's the reason why he chose this part, Linhong campus, to build his large underground constructions. Because in ancient times, the emperor, they have to find a place that near their campus.
Yeah. So the emperor, now, as soon as they became the king of the emperor, they started to build their mausoleums. Mausoleum is the term only used for the emperors of the empresses, not for the common people, not for the ministers. So as long as they became the ruler, now they started to build the mausoleum for themselves. Okay, now right now in front of us is the famous kneeling archer.
Yeah, let's go into look the first one. This kneeling archer is one kind of armored infantryman. It was unearthed from the center of the archer formation at the northeast section of the number 2 I will show you before. And altogether, 116 kneeling archers were found in number 2. If you look at the archer's face, you can see he's looking forward with attentive facial expressions. Also, just as Professor Dong introduced to you guys, in ancient times, people never cut their hair because they think hair is a present from their parents. They can use it this way to show their respect to their families. And we can go to the back part. There is a small section of paint still visible on his chest. Even the color of the paint is not as beautiful as originally painted, but it's amazing that you can still see it even after 2,000 years.
Yeah, so there are the colors preserved on this kneeling archer. There were 17 colors has been discovered from the terracotta figures. Okay, now can we just have a look at the shoe of this kneeling archer? 我们来看一下它的这个细节。Now look at it. As with all of the terracotta figures, these kneeling archer are highly detailed, even down to the bottom of their shoes. These lines depict the shoe's sole. You can see the pattern of the sole, now smaller at the heel and toe in comparison to the middle of the shoe, provides better traction when walking. Now, similar shoe soles are still used in parts of China today.
And also, even the sorry, I just continue this kind of technology. And even the armor, armor is different way to use. You can say in ancient Qin state, the armor was contacted with different pieces, twin pieces. So you can say in the back part and also on the left or right of the arms. There are different ways to make up the armor to protect this one.
Yeah, so the way of the armors being made, now you can see just help them to raise their arms flexibly. This kneeling archer is the most famous one in this museum.
Yeah, even we can now say they have the standards or different way to judge for important they are, but actually this one was the most famous one in our museum.
Yeah.
So
this is
the
another one.
high-ranking officer.
High-ranking officer means that this is the highest ranking officer that has been uncovered so far. So he is also called the general.
Yeah, so this is one of 10 generals found in this page. The hat, clothing, and headgear of these officers all indicate his high level. He is one of the tallest figures discovered so far. He wearing double-lined robes under colorful fish-scale armor, and a tall headgear tied with ribbons under his chin. So his shoes we can say 它的鞋，但是 his shoes have square opening and upward bending tips. There are 8 notes around the front pieces of armor. 你看一下全胸的那个铠甲。So 3 are on the back, and there are 1 on each shoulder. So originally, he held a sword in his hand, but it was gone by the time he was on Earth.
Yeah,
So
so
this
this
one is
scale
almost-
is, yeah, it's a fish scale design over a
Yeah.
double tiered row.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm. Now, can we just have a look at his hat, 荷冠?
Okay.
So the generals wear a unique hat split into 2 folded peaks known as the 荷冠. Now, 荷 is a type of fierce bird and 冠 means a cap. So only the generals have this kind of hat.
Okay. So because we are a little bit run out of time, so maybe we're just
Yes,
going to
let's
say
go
the
to-
third one.
Yeah, this is a middle ranking officer.
Yeah, and we can have a look. He's wearing a double-layered flat hat and square toe-toed shoes. A rope under the armor extends below the knees. So the armor for the middle-ranking officer has 2 different styles. One has only chest armor, like this one, and the other has both chest and back armor. We can have a look over this one. He only had the chest armor, and he didn't wearing any back armor. So that means we think maybe in his real life, his environment was not that dangerous. So he don't need to wearing complete armor to protect himself.
Yes, can we see the next one, the cavalryman? 徐老师, cavalryman.
Sorry, cavalryman.
Yes.
So okay, let's move to the cavalryman. Cavalryman with his saddle horses. 108 similar cavalrymen with their saddle war horses was found in page number 2. Horses were strictly selected and well trained. The horses shown with saddle director with skirt and a trapper. But we can have a look. We lose an important thing. They don't have the stirrup. You can say stirrup was
Yes,
not
there's no stirrup.
invented in Qin state. The figure wearing a knee-less robe and kind of had a tiger, an armored vest and tight-fitting pants. He holds the ring in one hand and a crossbow in the other. He's a little bit fat because you can see the spire tire around the vest. So in ancient times, people think it's a boy or a man. They do have the spire tire, so means that it's the most stronger one.
Yeah, and also the horses were required to be 4 feet tall, 3 inches tall at the shoulder.
Yeah.
Now making both cavalrymen and their horses strictly selected.
So we are going to say the last one, the semi-archer.
Yeah.
So we can say the special pose of this one. So it's one kind of infantryman dressed in an unarmored robe. It was unearthed from the outer part of the archer formations in page number 2. Altogether, there are almost 172 semi-archers were discovered. The pose of both hands shows that the figures was ready to shoot arrows.
Yeah, so this one is the only one are disciplined in page number 2 without the armor. So this is an armored infantryman, an armored foot soldier. Is a standing archer. Okay, yes, I think that we are almost the end. So this is page number 2. And Xu Laoshi will take us to the
last time
outside.
maybe. Yeah, so I want to show the students, the experts is still working here. So means
Yeah.
our excavation work will still continue.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go outside. We believe that
Okay.
more and more cultural relics will be present to you with the continuous innovation of the ecological technology in the future. So without disturbing the sleeping emperor.
Yes.
So maybe we still have several minutes. If you have any questions, you can leave us a message. We are the way to go outside of tip number 2.
Yeah, so guys, do you have any questions?汤老师, do you have any questions?
没有，我没有问题。
OK，好，看这观众还是很多的。
对，
董老师
董老师，
有问题。
我想问一下，就是说
嗯
的，你看我们秦朝以前，就是说他们这个陪葬的东西，好像要不就是很小的，要不就说是真人的。那为什么是到了这个秦始皇的时候，就是能做出这种真人大小的这种兵马俑呢？他们这个，就说这种 technique 或者这种思维是从哪来的？
这个秦始皇之前哈，就是这个在商朝的时候，其实更多的呢是这个青铜器，就
嗯
是 Western 州，在这个商啊，这个和州，他们更多的是青铜器。然后呢，在这个新石器时代，就再往前的话呢，就是 Neolithic period，they also discovered some pottery vessels containers，but not these figures。因为在奴隶社会的话呢，就是这个它是人殉制度，那个时候是拿真人来进行陪葬的。但是后来的话呢，到了封建社会之后，in order to save the labor, so they do not use a slave as a burial sacrifice. And so from the Qin dynasty, 就是其实也是从周了 from the Western Zhou dynasty, now they began to create the terracotta figures 俑来进行陪葬。And for the Emperor Qinshihuang, now he was the first emperor in China. So why now he has a name Qinshihuang? Qin is the name of the state of the country. Shi means the first. Huang is a Huangdi. Because Emperor Qinshihuang thought his achievements was far beyond the previous rulers and kings. So he just combined the Huang and the Di together as his title. So we can call him Qinshihuang or Qinshihuangdi. So he became the first emperor in China. That is why he wanted to have everything grander, everything large. So previous Qing kings, they also had their tombs built, but not on this large scale. And Emperor Qinshihuang wanted everything large, everything big. So that is why he had his mausoleum built. This lasted for 38 years. And the Great War, right? 这就是跟秦始皇当时他的这种喜好是有关系的。But after this 秦始皇, and also because he just wasted a lot of the social resources to build his mausoleum, to build the Great Wall, and also his the laws was really cruel during the Qin dynasty. Now we know the 焚书坑儒, right? He burned a lot of philosophy books in order to enforce his unity. So that is why the Qin dynasty only lasted for 14 years. So after Qin dynasty ended, Han dynasty continued. And from the Han dynasty, the emperors wanted to save the social resources. So from the Han dynasty, now we can see the figures. We also call them terracotta figures, but we call them terracotta figurines. They are much more smaller. So this is kind of the economical to save the social resources. The emperors wanted to give the people a peaceful life. So that is why during the Han Dynasty, we have the 文景之治. So that was the first, they developed society during the Han Dynasty. 那么从此以后，我们就可以发现呢，so for the future dynasties, the burial objects now become smaller and smaller. So only in the Qin dynasty we have this big, grand mausoleum as well as the terracotta figures.
谢谢。
我们的学生在学到这里的时候就觉得很有意思，就说秦始皇他这个13岁当上这个秦王以后，就开始修建自己的陵墓了。我们现在13岁，就是说我 finally I get to meet，但是他那个以后要怎么样？
对对，所以他13岁当了这个王，然后29岁呢就当了皇帝了。他是一个非常优秀的一个这个ruler 很多人的话呢就认为秦始皇呢他很残忍，焚书坑儒呀就是这个为了加强他的统治就是呢使用了这么72万这个劳工来修他的这个陵墓。但是其实我们应该看到秦始皇呢，他统一了中国之后。他自己其实他在他的统治之下，其实呢，我们中国的这个大一统的思想呀、中央集权制呀，都是呢，就是延续了中国封建社会2000多年。同学们还有其他的问题吗？Now you can ask Xu 老师 both in English and Chinese. 那大家可以看到那座山那座就是骊山This is a Li mountain. So Qin Shi Huang chose his mausoleum at the foot of the Li mountain. Now this is a beautiful place. This is a famous place not only for the Terracotta Army Museum but also the Qinshi. Qinshi is in this area as well. Hot Spring Palace. That was famous during the Tang Dynasty. So next time when you come to Xi'an, after you visit this Terracotta Army Museum, you can go to the Qin Palace to have a visit as well. 好，那还有问题吗？同学们、老师们？没有了是吧？好，那徐老师我们
Hello everyone, I'm here.
我们再给徐老师Yes, thank you very much, 徐老师for this wonderful introduction. Okay.
Hope I can stay here and waiting for you guys coming to visit here.
Yes, 百闻不如一见希望呢未来同学们能有机会到现场来看一看我们的秦兵马俑听徐老师现场来给我们进行讲座。Okay, that's all for today's working tour, and thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much, 徐老师 and also our cameraman 贺老师。OK 好，那我们今天的课就上到这儿，好吗？好，那大家再见。
好，那我们
拜拜，拜拜，徐老师，
谢谢董老师。
拜，
再见。
再见。